And then I'm just dragging off most of the paint off the brush. I'm just grabbing some pure tinting white and mixing that in with just the tiny bit of the highlight colour that I had left on the brush. And then within those brighter areas that I just put down, I'm just going to pick out a couple of super bright little areas. Again, squinting at the reference really helps to identify these. And obviously I've got more to do on the nose and the face, but for now, in terms of the oranges, or the orangey highlights, that'll do. But what I do want to do is just grab my little flat frayed brush that I used previously, and I'm just going to do this. Well, what I'm going to do it off camera, but I'm just going to spray the clean brush with water, and I'm just going to drag this brush through those highlights just to soften them a little bit and kind of tease the paint out across the shadows that are there. And then while I've got that on the brush, we'll use that. I mean, there's hardly any paint there really, but just drag a little bit of textural highlights really into those shadow regions. Could do it a little bit there on the chest, and when that dries back, I think it will be barely visible, but it does add a little extra layer, I feel, to the illusion. Now, same brush, I'm going to dip into my, actually that was the titanium white, which I'm going to go back to the tinting white first of all. And we'll just add a little bit more white to this central stripe. Although I do like the blue against the orange. So we don't want to kill that completely. And then I'm just grabbing pure pure titanium white, I should say, and we'll put some of that on the top of the back where the light is strongest. Alright, well, we've tackled the highlights, so what I'm going to do now is I've just added some burnt umber to my palette, and having worked that around with the brush a little bit, I'm just going to spray that paint with a bit of water, and again work the brush through so that I get a fairly thin or very thin mix of that. And then again, squinting at my reference, what I'm going to do is use this to begin to darken some of the shadows. So by going back to the slightly larger brush, it forces me to stay fairly loose and think in simple terms. Now, the main reason I wanted to do this, apart from darkening the shadows in general where needed, is this bit here, this orange which is showing through from earlier, that needs to be darker. So the approach I'm going to take is to darken the whole of that left-hand side of the head. And then when that dries back, my hope is that there will still be a lighter patch within the dark shadow. But we can whoops, oh, that went a bit wayward, but it kind of worked out okay. So we can kind of take that approach and add a bit more texture to the shadow.